text answer our questions. So just go through the text again to find out if it mentions these points and if it can answer our questions. Okay? 3 minutes just going through quickly.
Rabbit face. Is she still alive? She's rich. Is she rich?
Yes.
She was income support.
No, I don't know.
She has written Rich, and then the other books tell Rabbit. And is he still alive?
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Let's just go through quickly. Is this right? She wrote Harry Potter? Yes. Okay. She has a child or she has a couple of children. Does it tell you about that? No. It doesn't tell you. Okay. She's British? Yes. Well, it says that
Teaching English.
so she can speak English, but of course. I think, yes, that's pretty much confirmed in there. She was on income support. She had money.
I don't know.
We don't know about that. But what about she's rich now? I think we know she's rich. She's a best-selling author, so I think it's quite clear. She's a teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, okay, if you want to change it, perhaps not now. Now she's a writer, so we could change it to she was a teacher. And has she written any other books? No?
Yes. Called Rabbit.
Marco?
Another book called Rabbit.
Called Rabbit.
Called Rabbit.
Yes, another book called Rabbit. Excellent. So yes, she has, and it was called Rabbit. Okay. Is she still alive?
Yes.
Yes.
You think yes. Does it tell you in the text? It doesn't tell you, but from general knowledge in the classroom, is she still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. I think she's still writing them. I think she needs to finish 9 novels, I think. So, yes, that's she's still got a bit of writing to do. So we could change it to she was a teacher. And has she written any other books? No? Marco?
In the reading sequence we've just watched, you asked the students to tell you what they knew about J.K. Rowling, who is the subject of the reading text, long before they actually got to the reading. Why did you do that?
Well, first of all, to generate some interest in the topic that they were reading, and to give them their own input into the task, to share their knowledge and experience of the topic. And for any students who might not know anything about J.K. Rowling, they would benefit from the collective information that we put on the board. And also, afterwards, it served as a second reading task when we went back and checked for the information, so they were reading for detail. So it had two purposes, really.
Is this something you always do in reading lessons, or was this rather special?
To begin with, I always try to generate interest in the topic of the reading, whether it be through the method I used just then, or through vocabulary, or pictures, or video, or songs. They have to have some interest in the topic. They've got to be motivated to read. And it stops them from just reading a text cold as well. So they have some background information about that topic.
The next thing you did is you got them just to try and find out what the caption to the text meant. Why did you give them that reading task?
I wanted them to read to get the general idea of the text, to read for gist. And I set them a task to give them a purpose to read and to get the gist from the reading text. If I hadn't set a question or asked them to predict what the title meant and then check their predictions, then they'd just be reading aimlessly and perhaps getting hung up on all the individual words and what each sentence means. So I just wanted them to read quickly through to get the general idea of the text, which is a valuable skill to have. We read for gist all the time. We're skimming through different texts, and they need to be able to learn to do that in a foreign language.
And what did you do after the sequence that we've just watched?
After the sequence, we drew out some language from the reading text, which was the past perfect. We highlighted different sentences from the text and looked at them in context and tried to understand how we use the past perfect tense.
And do you always do that? Do you always try and get language out of the text like that?
I often try to do that. If I want to teach some language, it's always useful to see the language in context first. I don't always do it, but it's a good method of teaching language, I feel.
What I'm going to ask you to do now, we're going to do a bit of speaking about what you read. I've got 4 questions, and I'm going to give you 2 questions each. They're different questions, okay? Have a look at them. There's 1. There's 2. So, can you be my partner for 1 minute for an example, Ines? Okay. Which one have you got?
1.
You got 1 and 2, so I'm going to ask you number 3. Ines, when do you usually read?
When?
In the morning, the afternoon, in the evening?
In the afternoon.
In the afternoon? After
In-
school?
Yes.
Okay, good.
But in summer, maybe at night. Yes.
At night.
Before go to the bed.
Before going to bed?
Going to bed.
Excellent. Okay. Now, she can return the same question to me, but she doesn't have to repeat what she says, what I said. What can she say to me instead?
And you?
And you? Okay, or?
How about you?
How about you? Okay, so
And you?
I usually read when I'm on holiday. Okay, I love reading when I'm on the beach. Okay, that's my favourite time to read. Then Ines can ask me her first question. What is it?
Number 1 or 2?
I don't mind.
Have you read a good book recently?
Oh yes, I have read a good book recently. I think I told you about it yesterday. It's a Chinese book.
Yes,
Called Empress Orchid. Yeah. This is what you need to do. Take it in turns and then return the question by saying, and you? And have a quick chat about your reading habits. Ready, steady, go.
Me? Oh yes, I usually read in the afternoon too. But recently,
Osamu book is
I didn't read the book.
What type of thing do you read most?
poetry.
Maybe I like music, so I read the music about.
I read most my dictionary.
Yeah, me too.
Great. Well done, everybody. Really good. Just one thing. What's the past of read? Read. Okay. It's funny, isn't it? Because you have the word read, you have the verb read, and then the past simple. It's the same spelling, but the different pronunciation. So here we have read, and here we have read, like the colour. Okay. Same with the past participle as well. Okay? Read red, red. And one more thing, just to double check. So, when I'm a child, where's the mistake with that? If I write that on the board, when I'm a child. Okay, change that to the past. Well done. It's a simple mistake, but just to make sure, when I was. Okay? Good work. Okay, I'll rub that off the board. Let's just have a little bit of feedback. Okay, Saori, tell me one thing about Rowena. Anything that you found out?
Whenever she wants to read, when she read a book, she sometimes almost she reads novel.
Okay, she usually reads novels.
Novel.
Say it.
She usually reads novels.
Good. Okay, thank you. Well done. David, tell us one thing about your partner.
We're going to do now. We're going to do about a 5-minute speaking activity, and then we'll finish for the day. And I just wanted, if you could look on the board. I've got this problem sometimes, is that I forget. I've got this illness that when I write, I forget my vowels, and I need you to. I know it's terrible. And you've got to help me with this. So just have a look at this. Oh! I got better for a second. I really do have problems. Yeah, it's terrible. I don't know what to. Dyslexia. I've been to the vowel doctor. I get a vowel supplement. The weather in England. Sorry, this is a word which has no consonants at all. In a country, the weather in a country has a great effect on its people and its culture. Fantastic. The weather of a country has a great effect on its people and its culture. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is just 5 minutes. Could you brainstorm some ideas, some examples of how the weather changes or has an effect on the weather of maybe your country has an effect on the people who come from your country and also the culture. And if you compare weather and culture, you might find some similarities or differences. So 5 minutes, please, in your groups.
For the places you go, usually winter time we are staying more than summertime.
The weather doing affect to Chinese people a lot because I'm in a city which we eat a lot of hot food because the weather is so sticky and humid. So if we eat hot food, then we can just
sweat
a lot. Not
Do you find it different from London?
For what?
From London.
Yeah, a lot. Because in here, even if it's summertime, they are not eating cold one. Just chips.
But I mean, the weather here is just cool. And it's not like weather somewhere else.
How about Spain?
Well, Spain is hot, isn't it?
But it depends. In my city, winter is very cold and summer is very hot. And it changes the way we live. It changes a lot because in summer people is in the street until very late, 2 a.m. And in winter.
And the siesta.
Yes. And in winter there is no siesta. In summer, almost everybody has.
It's really good.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you just in case. I don't know if you're going to go off and play football. We're going to come back to this tomorrow, and we're going to talk about the different areas where weather and or how in areas in which weather can affect people and culture. And tonight you can do some research into, because as you know, the weather in this country is so warm and bright, and the people are so warm and so lovely. And thank you very much. Thank you so much, everyone. You've been brilliant.
This is what you need to do. Take it in turns and then return the question by saying, and you? And have a quick chat about your reading habits. Ready, steady, go.
Why did I say that?
Do you normally say that kind of thing?
I don't know. I just, I think it's like starting off the activity, ready, steady, go. But I don't think I normally say it, but perhaps I do.
There are a lot of things we're unconscious of, aren't there?
Yeah,
Until you see them
yeah.
on the screen.
I do love it.
I think you introduced it in a really nice way, really relaxing. They all feel very, or they'll look very relaxed now.
What was it she did that made?
Well, the modelling, I thought that by doing it and demonstrating it, but also you personalised it by talking about what you liked and referring back to yesterday.
We're going to do now, we're going to do about a 5-minute speaking activity and then we'll finish for the day. And I just wanted, if you could look on the board, I've got this problem sometimes is that I forget, I've got this illness that when I write I forget my vowels and I need you to, I know it's terrible, and you've got to help me with this. So just
They
have a
knew
look at
this
this
before, I mean I'd done this before. Maybe not every student, but some of them knew it. And they quite like it.
I got better for a second.
You got better for a second.
I know.
Love that.
I know.
I really do have problems, yeah, it's terrible.
So this is a kind of way that you often use just to sort of get things off the ground?
I don't know where it came. I may have seen it somewhere, but it came to my mind about 6 months ago, and I just did it one day in class, just for fun, because I was writing something up on the board which was a bit boring.
They're all very engaged.
And it's absolutely brilliant because people get into it.
And so the whole point of it is just at the beginning of an activity,
yes.
You just want to get...
Well, it's something boring which they might, like an essay title, which they might find dry. It brings it to life.
What interested me about those two clips is two apparently very different styles of teacher. So my question, I think, is it because you're very different kind of teachers, or would you both change if, for example, you taught at the advanced level, would you be a bit more like Philip, and if you were teaching at the lower level, would you be a bit more like Pip?
Yes, I think we would change a lot. I wouldn't have to perhaps give them a model at advanced level. They would know what to do. Part of the model was getting them to return the question with, what about you, how about you? Whereas an advanced class would already know how to do that.
If you did what you did with your class, with mine, if I modelled some questions and I got them to do it, they'd probably think,
I was patronising.
yes, they might have come to the wrong level or something, or they think, we don't need this, this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
So,
having said that, if the topic is an easier topic
yes.
with lower levels,
yes.
I'd be happy to just let
yes.
them sort of ask their own
yes,
questions.
Exactly.
But the topic, it's quite specific, talking about reading. Not all of them read, so I tried to, choose some questions
yes.
which would involve them all as well. So the topic was quite.
Excuse me. I'm also interested in whether it's true that the higher you go in terms of level, the more authentic or the less prescriptive you have to be or you need to be. In other words, in a very high level, you can just say, "Oh, talk about this." Whereas if you do that with let's say, an intermediate or a pre-intermediate level, they might be lost because they don't have the confidence or the language to do it.
So when you were both sort of thinking about these classes, I think what I'm hearing is that you quite deliberately sat down and thought, the way to do this, I must do this. It wasn't a sort of in-class decision, it was something you planned out quite definitely.
Definitely planned to do that and had the questions ready for them there to use. And in my experience as well, with lower levels, if you don't give them a demonstration or a model, they can just end up giving one-word answers, and it's not nearly as effective as if you do. So yeah, I've definitely planned that into the lesson.
Whereas when you were thinking about it,
I was thinking that I knew that I think confidence is a good word, because I think what Pip, I hope I can speak for you, but what Pip was doing was maybe giving them confidence to go into the discussion, whereas with me, I was confident in their confidence. So,
because you knew this class quite well.
Because I knew the
you'd been
class,
teaching them something.
exactly, I knew the class quite well.
Now, we're going to be talking about food and cooking today. So to warm up,